Josh Emmett's taking on Lerone Murphy this weekend at UFC Fight Night. Another Apex card, big surprise. But Josh Emmett doesn't really have much of a chance. You know, the last 4 or 5 main events I nailed perfectly. So what I'm about to tell you is going to be some real shit. Whether you like it or not, this is what's going to happen in the fight. You can come back to this video if I'm wrong, but I guarantee you I won't be. So I'm going to break down their fight and tell you why exactly it is that Josh Emmett doesn't stand much of a chance against Lerone Murphy. And we'll look at a few other fights on that card, and I'll give my picks for them. But I'm going to put most of my focus into the main event. First factor that really goes against Josh Emmett is his obvious age disadvantage here. Lerone Murphy, 33, which is widely considered a fighter's prime. And he's going to be taking on a 40-year-old Josh Emmett, which as many know, 35 is kind of like the expiration date on most fighters in the lower weight classes. Josh Emmett is 5 years over that limit. His durability's definitely gone down as we've seen in his past couple fights. And while he is coming off a big KO, we kind of got to remember that that was a tailor-made stylistic matchup for him, and Bryce Mitchell was on short notice. My next point is Josh Emmett is 1-2 in his past 3, arguably 1-3, because everyone knows Calvin Kattar beat him. You can look at the strike stats right there. Calvin Kattar outstruck him pretty easily. And then even before that, Dan Ige outstruck him by 10. Shane Burgos landed more strikes than him. I'm not saying it was a robbery to any degree. Josh Emmett definitely won, but I'm just saying he got landed on more by Shane Burgos that fight. Obviously, the Ilia Topuria loss, that was just... But one thing we took away from the Ilia Topuria loss is Josh Emmett does have a strong chin. So if he does lose, it's likely not going to be a live knockout. Last time we saw that was against Jeremy Stephens, as you can see here. But more likely than not, Josh Emmett's not getting knocked out. I think part of it too is his opponents just have way too much respect for his power. Rightfully so. But if you also look at these stats, you can see Josh Emmett doesn't really have the best ground game. He was taken down by Topuria 3 times. He was submitted by Yair Rodriguez, taken down by Dan Ige. And his past couple fights haven't looked really pretty on the ground. And you can look at his takedown accuracy here, 47% takedown defense. It's not too hot, and everyone likes to call him a knockout warrior. His average fight time is almost the full duration of a 3-round fight at 12 minutes and 56 seconds. So is he really the round 1 knockout artist like everyone likes to say? I don't think so. And then you can look at his significant strikes absorbed. 4.61. He gets hit more than he hits. I mean, you can see it here. Also, who is Josh Emmett losing to? How is he losing? Anytime he goes against a technical striker, Josh Emmett has problems. Look at the Calvin Kattar fight. Calvin Kattar has great boxing, and he beat Josh Emmett. Let's be honest, he won. He did way more damage. Split decision, should have gone to Calvin Kattar. And again, look at the Ilia Topuria fight, his most recent fight other than Bryce Mitchell. I really don't like to look at the Bryce Mitchell one because while it was a good performance, we didn't see much. Not saying it's a bad win, but I don't think it's something we should look into too much because we didn't learn much from that fight while it lasted. But again, these people he's having these tough fights with are really sound on the feet, real technical strikers, which is exactly what Lerone Murphy is. Look at his matchup against Edson Barboza. I mean, Edson Barboza, one of the greatest strikers in UFC history. Yeah, he was past his prime in that fight. But still, to do that to such a legend and such an amazing striker, you got to give him a little bit of credit. I mean, look at all these fights. He's outstriking everyone. He hasn't been outstruck in the UFC once. His closest fight against Gabriel Santos, split decision, it was largely due to takedowns. And the same exact reason behind his draw was also largely due to takedowns. And guess what? Josh Emmett's not going to be shooting takedowns. Josh Emmett doesn't shoot takedowns. If you look at his takedown stats, he averages less than 1 takedown every 15 minutes. And when he does attempt a takedown, he has 38% accuracy. Lerone Murphy, while his takedown defense isn't the best, defending every other takedown, look at his takedown average. It's almost a whole takedown higher than Josh Emmett's. Roughly 2 takedowns a fight. So what I'm trying to say is Lerone Murphy is not only a technical striker, which Josh Emmett struggles with. Josh Emmett also can't go to the grappling, which Josh Emmett actually does have some decent takedowns, but he's not going to be able to go to that. So he's going to be stuck on the feet with Lerone Murphy, a better striker than him, and Lerone's also a better grappler than him. So what exactly is Josh Emmett going to do when something's not working for him? The answer is nothing. He can't do anything. You know, Josh Emmett, 90% of his punches are overhands. If you just guard your head like this, you'll be safe and sound against Josh Emmett. I don't know if he even has thrown a jab in the UFC yet. Seriously, Josh Emmett, yes, he probably has the most power at featherweight, but I think people are really starting to catch on to his technique. He's realistically 1-3 in his last 4, and he hasn't fought in, over a year? It'll be a year and 4 months since he last fought. So he's gonna have ring rust. He's already on a decline, losing 3 of his last 4. He's 40 years old. He wears damage like none other. Like, this dude, after every fight, he walks out, his face is inflated, like black and blue everywhere, cuts all over. It's ridiculous. And he's not going to be able to go anywhere. He can't go to the takedowns. Lerone Murphy has better grappling than him at this point in time. Lerone Murphy's the better grappler. And when he's getting outstruck, he can't do anything. He's just going to have to resort to throwing overhands, and I think it'll look very similar to the Ilia Topuria fight. I think Lerone might even land a few takedowns on Emmett. Like I said, as we learned from the Ilia Topuria fight, Josh Emmett is not easy to put away. And we know Lerone Murphy doesn't have the most pop in his shots. So I'm going to tell you right now, I'd say there's a 90 to 95% chance that this fight goes to a decision. When it does go to that decision, I'd say there's almost a 99.999% chance that Lerone Murphy will be the one getting his hand raised, unless Josh Emmett somehow gets another robbery. But I'm telling you right now, mark my words, Lerone Murphy, by decision, it's gonna happen, whether you like it or not. And if it's not by decision, maybe Lerone finds a submission or a lucky shot. And the only method to victory for Josh Emmett is a puncher's chance. He's gonna have to land that overhand, and he's gonna have to land it flush. But he's gonna be slower than ever before. He's gonna have that ring rest. He's not gonna be as durable. I mean, dude, he did take a beating in that Ilia Topuria fight, and we haven't really seen him since. Who knows how his chin is? Yeah, we saw the Bryce Mitchell fight, but that was a minute, and he didn't get hit. So who knows how his chin is? Maybe he's chinny now. Maybe he's not going to be able to take the damage. So regardless of the method of victory, I'm telling you right now that Lerone Murphy will be getting his hand raised on Saturday night. Also on the card, we got Pat Sabatini versus Joe Anderson Brito. Pat Sabatini's only method to victory would likely be via grappling, and Joe Anderson Brito has solid takedown defense. I don't think he's going to be getting caught in any submissions. And on the feet, Joe Anderson Brito is a way better striker. So I'm going to go with Joe Anderson Brito, probably by decision or KO. I don't know these guys, I'll be honest. I don't know Chang Ho Lee and Cortavius Romeos. I don't know. So next we got Kennedy Nizuchuku versus Martin Boudet. I'm going to go with Kennedy Nizuchuku. He moved up from light heavyweight, I believe. He's one of the few heavyweights that's actually in shape. Very quick for the division. Yeah, he can get chinned, but look at Martin Boudet. I don't even know if he had a training camp yet. I think the easiest thing for this fight is the eye test. I mean, you can just tell Kennedy Nizuchuku's in the much better shape. On top of that, he has knockout power. And like I said, he's fast, which is rare for this division. Athletic. It's going to be Kennedy Nizuchuku. Next, we got a veterans matchup. Brad Tavares versus Gerald Meerschaert. I think you got to go with Brad Tavares. Obviously, his striking's much better than Gerald Meerschaert's. He got a miracle win against Edmund Shabazian. I don't remember, was that his most recent fight, Shabazian? Both 37 years of age. Brad Tavares has pretty good takedown defense. And like I said, he's the better striker. Also, you got to look at Gerald Meerschaert's chin. He can't really take a shot like he used to. So I'm going to go Brad Tavares probably by... I don't know if he hits like he used to either, though. So this might be a decision or a KO TKO for Brad Tavares. Next, we got the debut of Torrence Finney versus Robert Valentin. I think the odds are very inflated on this one because Torrence Finney is a very hyped up prospect, so it's kind of hard to read. But Torrence Finney does have the grappling, and he has some pop in his shots. I don't know. I actually really don't know. I don't know too much about Valentin, I'll be honest. Very good grappling. All right, so it's looking like Robert Valentin has very good grappling, but his striking is not the best. And as I just said, Torrence Finney also has good grappling, but he does have pop in his shots, and he does have some decent striking. So I'm going to go with Torrence Finney. I'll say decision. He's not much of a finisher, to be honest. He can hurt you on the feet, but usually after that, he'll just take you down. Next, we got Odi Osborne versus Luis Gruel. I'm going to go with Odi Osborne. I think Odi Osborne's going to win via upset. He hurt Lazy Boy real bad in their last fight. Lazy Boy was hugging on for dear life. Luis Gruel doesn't have the best takedowns. And Odi Osborne, he was hanging around with the Nurmagomedov camp. I do think his last fight, who did he fight last? He lost to him. Yeah, Rodriguez. Nah, but I'll tell you what, I'm going to go with an upset. People sleep on Odi Osborne. I think he's going to knock out Luis Gruel, and he's going to ruin a lot of parlays. So I'm going to go Odi Osborne by TKO or decision. Next, we got Davey Grant versus Daniel Santos. So it's looking like Santos is a slightly better grappler. Davey Grant's a slightly better striker. I'm going to go Davy Grant by decision. He's going to outdamage Daniel Santos probably 29-28. I think he'll just be able to keep Daniel Santos at bay. Ooh, I don't know though. Screw it. I'm going Davy Grant. Do I know any of these guys? Vanessa. I know this girl. She's the one that jumps in Joe Rogan's arms. All right, I'm gonna call it there. I'm gonna be real. I don't know any of these folks anymore, so I'm not gonna give you a prediction on someone that I don't know extensively. I won't be able to make an accurate prediction doing that. But those are my picks for UFC Fight Night, Emmett versus Murphy, and also my reasons why Josh Emmett really doesn't have a chance in this matchup. If you agree or disagree with any of my picks, let me know in the comments, but I'll see you soon.